So it's finally here. London 2012, the Olympic Games started last night with the opening ceremony. And it wasn't rubbish! Yes! After 7 or 8 years of everybody in England just wringing their hands and biting their nails, thinking, oh god, this is going to be so embarrassing and the whole world's going to be watching and it's just going to be terrible, we were proved wrong. Brilliant! And I will admit, I, like a lot of other people in England, were prepared to be cynical and roll my eyes at the whole thing. You know, we've all heard the jokes, Boris Johnson jogging around the stadium, sparkle in one hand, flag in the other, you know, just thinking it was going to be a complete embarrassment for the whole country. But it was actually really, really good. At the beginning, I wasn't quite sure if it was going to be any good. We see this huge, elaborate sets of English countryside, and we think, well, I was thinking, oh, is this going to be a bit twee, a bit stereotypical? But it all came together so wonderfully. I think the part that really got my confidence going was when they were taking apart the countryside set, just ripping it up and taking it away to make way for the Industrial Revolution and all these huge, foreboding, hideous chimneys rose up, and it was brilliant. It was that moment where you thought, actually, this is going to be really good. When I saw James Bond and the Queen parachute into the stadium, that was the moment where I think a lot of people thought, this is going to be good, this is going to be fun. And also I think there were a lot of moments that people of Britain will have found very personal to themselves. For example, there was the performance in honour of the NHS in St Albans Street Hospital. I will admit I cried a little bit at that one, just because they just do such wonderful work, and it's good that they got the appreciation that they deserved in the ceremony. And then of course also, after we had that, we had the children reading underneath their sheets and all the nightmares coming to get them, and that was brilliant. It was actually quite scary. You remember, it sort of reminds you of when you were a child yourself and all the nightmares would come out at night, the child catcher and Voldemort and Cruella de Vil, and they all come and they're coming to get the children. But then an army of Mary Poppinses an army of Mary Poppinses float into the stadium and shoo away all the nightmares and save the children, save the day. And because as we all know, Mary Poppins is a hero. And there's lots of moments where you just think to yourself, am I dreaming this? This cannot really be happening. I'm not really seeing this. This is... So I will admit that before I actually saw it, I was planning to be quite cynical and disparaging about it, you know, go say, hey, you know, it wasn't as rubbish as we thought it was going to be. But after I saw it, I couldn't, because it was so wonderfully done, and you can tell that everyone involved, from the construction workers to the performers to the producers to the Queen herself, everyone was behind it and everyone gave it all that they could. And it was just, I know this is going to sound really, really cheesy and cliched, but I did really find it an inspiration. It was beautiful and sort of magical, and yeah, it did actually make you proud to be British. And I know that's sort of a taboo to say these days, but it did. And it was just wonderful to see everyone's hard work culminate in this really magnificent show. And even the lighting of the cauldron was it was a really glorious moment where we had Sir Steve Redgrave passing on the torch, figuratively and literally, to the next generation of athletes and potential Olympians, and they were the ones who got to light the cauldron. I know I keep using the word, but it was a truly beautiful moment. And I do know it's commonplace to be cynical and miserable about these things, but seeing that moment where one generation lets the next generation take on this responsibility and this honour and this privilege, it was a genuinely heartening moment. And it's actually got me very excited for the rest of the Olympics. And I think that's the whole purpose of it. So, I think there's really only one way I can finish this video. Come on, Team GB!